Hey, this is Chris. Wanted to discuss a topic that everybody probably knows about, or if you haven't heard, we had two two bills that were drawn up. One was called the Hearing Protection Act, and one was called the Short Act. Basically, what those were to remove short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns off the NFA, and the Hearing Protection Act, which is the really big one, which is removing silencers off of the NFA, meaning that you wouldn't have to file e-forms and you wouldn't have to pay a $200 tax to the government and file e-forms to get permission to own one. Now, currently, as of today, it passed the House of Representatives. The Hearing Protection Act did. But it barely made it out of the Ways and Means Committee to the House. And then when it passed today to the House, it only passed by one vote. One vote. So that means you had Republicans that didn't vote or did vote and voted against it. Now we have an even smaller margin in the Senate, where it's going to now for a vote. Now, when it gets to the Senate, they can change it. They can change it. They can just say, well, we're going to leave it on the NFA, but we'll remove the $200 tax stamp. Or they can say, no, we're going to keep the tax stamp, but remove it from the NFA. Now, if they remove it from the NFA, that means that you will be able to go to your local dealer, and if you're lucky enough and he has it in stock, you'd be able to purchase it, and you would just fill out a 4473 just like you would for any other firearm, and walk out with it the same day once you pass your NICS background check. If they keep the $200 tax stamp, then you'd have to pay a $200 tax stamp fee, even though you're getting to go home with it on a 4473. If they do it the other way, which is leave it on the NFA, where you still have to do the e-form, but they pull the $200 tax stamp, then you're just saving $200, but you're still going through the e-form. But let's address the one that's the most important. Let's say they pass the bill, it goes through the House and the Senate to President Trump, he signs it, and you no longer have to pay a tax stamp, and you no longer have to do an e-form to get permission to own one. And let's say you're going to run down that first Friday when you get your paycheck to your local dealer and see if he's got that silencer you've been looking at in stock so you can purchase it. Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's probably not going to happen. You're not going to find it in stock. You probably won't find nothing in the cabinet. It'll probably be completely bare, because this is what the situation is going to be. All the people who have been sitting on the fence that's got the money have either going to have already purchased them, or they're going to be there when the doors open that morning on that first day and purchased them. Now people say, oh, well, I can wait for them to come back into stock. Well, as a dealer, I can tell you right now, and people can think what they want to, but I know personally myself, these silencer companies are already running at full capacity. They're already making as much as they can. And when these things go out of stock, they stay out of stock for a while. And then when they do ship out a batch, it's only like 100 or 200 out to a distributor. Now people say, oh, 100 or 200. Well, you got to stop and think. That distributor has got how many thousands of SOTs and FFL dealers that are buying from that distributor? That's the reason a lot of times when I have to order from a distributor, I can only get 2 at a time. It'll say the first 24 hours, you're only allowed to purchase 2. Then after 24 hours, you can purchase 2 more if there's still any left in stock. Well, 99 times out of 100, if there was any in stock when I did get my two, before the 24 hours is up, if I check to see if there's any left, they're already gone. Because every dealer that saw it has already purchased them. So you're looking at a lot of dealers that's only going to get two. And then it may be months before he gets another two again. These silencer companies are not going to be producing them any faster than they already have because they're already at max capacity. So you're going to see long waits to get silencers that you want and may have to settle for something you didn't want if those are even available. Now here comes another issue that people aren't thinking about. There are some hidden fees in the price of your silencer. One of them is the E-form fee. Well, these people like Capital Armory, Silencer Shop, Silencer Central, all of these companies that do your E-forms now are losing money on the E-forms. Well, guess what? They're not going to take a loss on that. So they're going to go up on the silencers even more with that hidden fee in there because now they've not only lost the E-form fee, but they're also losing I ain't going to say a monopoly on it, but now they know that any FFL, it doesn't have to be an SOT, but any FFL, which is a lot more of those than they are like me, who is an FFL SOT, because they won't have to have an SOT license to sell silencers. So now you've got so much more competition to get silencers. So these bigger companies are going to buy more and more from the manufacturers, trying to push the little guy out. And in the process, with this higher demand and less supply, you're going to see these prices on these silencers peak like you've never seen before. So if you think they're expensive now, just wait until after that first month and see how much silencer prices will go up. Right now, nobody pays MSRP price. Everybody pays what they call a MAP price or retail price. Well, they're going to immediately jump to that MSRP price and probably even more within the first month. So while the E-forms right now are only taking you 2 to 5 days to get an approval, and yes, you're having to be registered, and yes, you're paying a $200 tax stamp, you can mark my words, within a month, the price is going to be about the same as it is right now, but it's going to be even longer wait to get one, and it ain't going to have nothing to do with E-forms. It's going to be with supply and demand. Now, yeah, that sucks. It really does. And there's going to be a limited few that's going to benefit from it because they're going to be like a Black Friday sale. They're going to be camped out in front of their local dealer that morning waiting for the doors to open up, and they're going to buy whatever he's got in his display case, and then that's going to be the end of it pretty much, well, for a week or two. And if he's lucky enough to get a little bit more supply, which is going to be limited because the distributors are going to limit how much he can buy, trying to be fair to the other dealers, he's going to be out of stock again. That's if he doesn't have people making pre-orders. So here is a suggestion that I'm making to people. You can take it with a grain of salt. You can listen to this advice or just ignore it. But if it was me personally, this is what I would do. I would immediately start shopping right now, today, after you listen to this video, and go out. And if you see any of your silencers in stock that you want, I would purchase them today, because this is the lowest you're ever going to see them. Now, people are going to say, hey, Chris, now why would I want to purchase it today? I'm trying to avoid the tax stamp and the NFA. You still can. Just because you purchase it doesn't mean you have to start the E-form. You can purchase it and tell them, hey, look, I'm not ready to pay the tax stamp and I'm not ready to pay for the E-form. I actually want to wait until the first week of July and see how this is going to go. Just put it back in your safe. And when this bill passes, we'll decide what to do then. So if the bill passes, you're ahead of the game. You've already guaranteed and locked in your silencer. You're not going to have to deal with fighting to try to find it in stock. and you're going to get it at the best price you can right now because they're going to go up. I guarantee you that. They're going to go up. Let's say they don't pass the bill. If they don't pass the bill, then you didn't lose nothing. You still have your silencer paid for. They gave you a couple weeks to come up with the $200. You file the E-form and you'll still get it in 2 to 5 days. If they do pass it in the current form, then you'll just be able to pick it up and do a 4473, not pay a tax stamp and not register. But point being is, if you're buying something now while it's in stock, believe me, this is going to be the lowest price you see, because as soon as that demand goes to the roof, the market's going to dictate the price, and everybody's going to go up on the price of them. I'll have to go up on the price of them myself. That's just the way it works in a free market enterprise. You've got the supply side and the demand side. If the supply is low and the demand is high, that's going to drive up the price. So, want that silencer? That's just my advice. I'd get it now. Ask your dealer to hold on to it for you. He's not going to mind holding on to it for you for 2 weeks or whatever it takes to see what this bill is going to do. He's already collected his money. So just keep that in mind, people. I know everybody's excited. They're watching this bill. Everybody's hoping it's going to pass the way it is. But you're going to have to stop and think about the supply and the demand. And as much as people don't realize it, silencers aren't made as fast as you think they are. And this isn't going to drive the price down. It's going to drive the price up because the demand is going to be crazy. Everybody that's thought about it, that never wanted to get one because they didn't like the $200 tax stamp and they didn't like the E-forms, are now going to be coming out of the woodwork saying, hey, I want to try a silencer. And they're all going to be ready to purchase that first day. So keep that in mind. That's just a little public announcement I wanted to make. Hope that helps. If you got any questions, just leave them down in the comment section. And until the bill passes, let's just hope it does and see what happens. They say that the decision probably will be made on the bill and everything done with it and ready for Trump to sign by the 4th of July. So we'll see.